Hello, my name is Poppy Sickle, and I today wanted to sort of talk about the upcoming Leo Cup, since that's going to be on its way now that Cancer has finally come to an end. This is also my first YouTube video, so very excited for that. But I wanted to give a little thoughts on it, and I will explain why in a moment. But I know that people really like those statistics, so I suppose we can get right into it. Um, I have not really played Uma Musume for a super long time. I sort of got into it when Global launched, and it was actually a little bit after Global launched. But so far in my sort of Uma Musume career, I should say, I did manage to win Gemini and now Cancer as of the today of when I'm recording this video, and I did both of those with. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are like 80% win rate, 75% win rate, 90% win rate, like a lot of really good players out there, and I'm afraid to say that I am coming from the perspective of being a 65% to 63% win rate. But hold on, before you just go and click off, hear me out. This is actually one of the main reasons I wanted to make this video, is because I know a lot of people are, there's a lot of people that make videos on this and who are playing the game who are like, oh, I played on JP when it came out, or I played on the Korean, or what have you. Like they've been playing longer than when Global came out, right? And for the most part, I think that's a lot of people who talk about the game. And I think what would be sort of nice, or to, I guess, put my own opinion out there, is coming basically my thoughts on the upcoming Leo Cup as someone who's coming from this from a perspective of being a new player, basically. Someone who didn't play the game for 4 years. I don't have a 95% win rate in these champions meetings. And for the most part, I am sort of learning the game as I play. And I don't know, I think that's sort of a little bit of a refreshing sort of outlook on it, and to give a perspective on maybe players who are also just starting the game and maybe they went into Cancer or Gemini and Taurus and they lost. I know for me, I lost my first in Taurus Cup. I made it to finals and then I completely and utterly lost. I did not do good, and that was when I didn't really understand the game too much. So, but I sort of have a better understanding in general, so I just kind of wanted to get into that here. And that's sort of talking about what's going on. So we had Cancer Cup here, but we are now going into Leo Cup, and that is going to be on, Haishin turf, 2,200 meters, medium clockwise. So right, this means right-handed, or basically the right way, clockwise. Firm, summer, sunny. So what does that mean? Well, this automatically already tells you a couple of the skills you're going to want. So Haishin Race Course, that is a stamina boosting card, or a green skill that'll boost your stam skill. And that one is basic. This one's actually pretty easy to get. There are a couple of cards that have this, some that are built in. Medium, going for a lot of medium based skills. This is obviously clockwise, is good for the green skill, the right handed one, which comes on a couple of cards here. Firm for firm conditions. This one is a very easy one to get, and I can see why a lot of these tournaments have them. It seems to be the go-to one, and this one's very easy to get. Summer, so Summer Runner, a speed boosting skill. And finally, Sunny Days, which is a guts boosting skill. And all of these are on a bunch of different cards, but we'll sort of get into those skills in a moment. But just taking a look at the track here, we have a nice long 2,200 meter medium race. For those of you who did Taurus Cup, I'm sure that this is going to seem like somewhat familiar, at least distance-wise. But it's sort of this long stretch in the beginning that comes into the very first corner here, going into the second, and then going into a straight open right here. This is probably, we're already in the mid race as of right here, but there are going to be a couple spots that matter a lot for a lot of skills. So like corner skills and Professor of Curvature or Swinging Maestro, things that pop on corners are going to end up popping around here. And that's just sort of how the game works, is that if it's the first corner, which is right here, you can see it right here with turn 1, it's going to basically pop around this area right here, or you should see it pop. It's never going to pop around here because that's just how the skills work. So that's just something to keep in mind. And also something really big to keep in mind is as you're just coming right out the gate here, there is an uphill. And this course actually has, and we can move over to here real quick, take a look at the course from almost like a side view. This has two, and it's the same exact uphill as here, but here, because it's a loop. It's going to come around, come up, and you're going to hit the same exact one. And so skills that might help you with that, or focusing on your stats to kind of help you with that, will matter, because if, you know, for anyone who's like played Cancer, that one also had an uphill in it. And I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed this, especially on my front runner, which I was running El Condor Pasa, is that if she couldn't get to the first position, and by the time they got to the very first uphill, it became very difficult for her to actually snatch that first place position while going up the uphill. And then that would lead to her not being able to grab it and ending up needing to try to struggle to get it in the middle of the race, or just not being able to get it at all by the time they reached the corner, because the other character was either better prepared for it, better stats, or had other skills that basically let them keep it. And so we get over to here to the third corner, which comes into here. And then right here, right on this blue, is the late race. And that is basically where the horse is going to start to go. There's two sections of this thing. Basically, like this red line you see here is called the last spurt of the race. And I'm sure people watching this probably already know this, but your horse goes into their last spurt, which is basically they're going to run at their top speed and use all their power to get to that top speed as quickly as they can. And that happens right here on this line. So if you see last spurt and you're confused, that's just the name of this leg of the race right here. You can see it on this red line. It's basically right around here is where it starts, or where it ends is right on this blue where it becomes this. But your horse is going to start trying to go at its maximum capacity right here. And this is where you're going to see a lot of people trying to pop their acceleration skills to move. And we can actually talk about that a little bit here, because what acceleration skills are going to be good? Ones are going to be like, let's pump some iron from Measure Orion is going to be really good, because it's going to effectively pop up almost instantly. We can actually see right here, let's pump some iron. And you can see that theoretically it pops right here, right as soon as it starts, which is right here. And this is one of the, it is a gamble, because you have to be specifically in the 6th place position for it to work. Normally it's like a certain order, but for Champions Meet it is exactly 6th place. And this is kind of a tall deal or kind of a tall order to have. Usually it's end closers or late surgers that are going to benefit from that. But for this example, she's on pace. But for this example, basically, this is like the fastest activating one. And so end closers and late surgers are going to have that in their back pocket. But otherwise, it's going to be Redshift or Shooting for Victory, which is Taiki Shuttles is Shooting for Victory, and Marizinski's is Redshift. And those are going to pop right here, right on this corner right here. And this is pretty much as soon as these can pop. And these are going to be probably your most reliable excels. This is going to be very unreliable. You also can get technically Nimble Navigator, but this is very much a gamble. As you can see, it popped right here, but if you were to roll the dice enough, eventually you would get one. I'm not getting it right now, but if you did it enough times, you might be able to find one. Yeah, right here. You can see that it actually did pop right at let's pump some iron. So this is also an option, but once again, very risky. Your horse has to be blocked in front for X amount of seconds. I think it's like 1 second. So very risky, but hey, you might be able to get some massive benefits from that. I mean, look at how high this goes, right? But those are going to be your good XLs, and then good sort of like ones for velocity skills that you're going to get are things like Professor of Curvature, Tail Held High, ramp up, things like that, things in the middle game that help you jockey for position to keep your horse in a really good position here. And as for a lot of the green skills, you're gonna have things like I said it right here before. Oh, I have them all checked off, my bad. Right-handed right here. Right-handed is gonna be really good. That'll be a speed up skill. Also Summer Runner, another speed up skill that's really good. Non-standard distances, because it's 2200 meter, that's not a multiple of 400. So that's going to be good for boosting that stamina up a little bit. And to my knowledge, unlike Cancer Cup, this course does not have a hidden mechanic, I think. That might end up getting corrected in like a later video or something, but there's no hidden mechanic for getting your stats, like your stamina and guts to a certain thing. That was exclusive to Cancer Cup, at least at the moment, to my knowledge. So definitely don't need to aim for those, at least for the moment. But aiming for high stats is just always good in general, obviously. you have ones here. Where is it? Yeah, the Hanshin race course here. I think I mispronounced this. I apologize before. The Hanshin race course. This is one that's going to be sort of a guaranteed one. And then you have things like firm conditions, sunny day for guts, and then obviously these knowledge ones that also, if you didn't know this, because I actually bumped into someone earlier who didn't know this, but these savvy skills, they boost not just your wit, which is good, but they also your field of vision. And field of vision is good because it means your horse is more likely to find a path between other horses and not get so tunnel visioned and end up getting blocked. Don't get me wrong, this is not a surefire way to stop your horse from getting blocked. I should know, my Narita Taishin had this and still was struggling at some points, but it definitely helps. Definitely helps to get the wit up and the field of view. I think it just makes it consistent. And if there's one thing about Uma Musume that I think people should aim for, is that obviously gambling is going to be one of the ways that you win these games. Sometimes your horse just gets blocked and they're blocked. It is what it is. And there's nothing more you can do. There is always RNG, but ways to create consistency end up making it so that you are more likely to win your races more often, because you already know when your horse is going to do what it does, or when you plan for it to do what it does. And what I mean by that is, for this example right here, I have sort of a mock gold ship that I made here just as like an example of what I think a reasonable gold ship going into this is. Not max speed, not max stamina, not max power. The guts is a little lower than average. Maybe the wit is slightly above average. But you can see, like, it has the skills here, they pop here. But what I mean by like keeping things consistent is basically like, okay, you're coming in here, the Highlander skill right here. And I think that people are sleeping on this skill, by the way. I think this skill for this course is going to be very good, especially early, because it's going to help your horse keep its position, and also help it move ahead of other horses, because in the uphill, the horses will start to lose speed. You can see right here, the thing goes down because it loses speed, and then they have to re-accelerate back to their main top speed that they're able to hold at. So I think Highlander will definitely help out a little bit there. And going into it, you have things like medium corners, Professor of Curvature, and tail held high. Because of medium corners, corner skills always popping on the first corner, Professor of Curvature, and also Swinging Maestro, it basically guarantees that tail held high is going to activate here, and it's probably almost always going to activate here. And that's what I mean by consistency, is basically just planning it out. Actually, if you were even to remove the medium corners, which I wouldn't, it's a very good skill for a medium course, but if you were to remove it, the tail held high would actually pop right here on Anchors Away, and would actually start sending the gold ship up ahead. Because it's going faster than all the other horses, it would actually start having her reposition herself more towards the front. And that's kind of the point of this skill in general. But basically what I mean is, like, plan out when you want your skills to go, because that's going to really help. That's been my mindset with playing, especially after Taurus Cup, is that gambling is good, and some horses straight up need to gamble in order to win some of these. But a lot of the time, there is a lot you can do on your end before the race, and then unfortunately, faith in the horse at executing what you've done. But the point of, like, being the trainer training these horses is to try to get it as consistent as you can get it, because that'll definitely help you out in your races, or help you win a little bit more often, instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping your Narita Taishin does Encroaching Shadow and then Furious Feet and then Let's Pump Some Iron and then basically slingshots to the front, because that is all entirely gamble. And taking things like this, consistent accelerations like Redshift and shooting for victory. And I bet you're looking at this and you're going, wait a minute, but this says negative numbers mean Uma 1 is faster, and this gold ship is Uma 2. What is Uma 1? This is Summer Maruzensky. Take a look out for this. This is going to be a very, very good horse. But this Maruzensky is basically set up for success. It's got groundwork. It's got its guarantees for groundwork, other than the wit check that it has to do. Fast pace, leader's pride, holding that position. Good, a lot of stamina, basically making it so it can't die. This is basically a horse designed to win. On average, I know for my El Condor passive for Cancer, I managed to get like 13 skills. Most people might get like 11 or 12. But I think 13 is like a good thing to aim for, because it gives you a lot of versatility in what your horse is going to do. But here's the thing. I actually tricked you. Do you see that? Positive numbers mean Uma 2 is faster. I tricked you. Do you see this? This is the perfect Maruzensky. S in the distance, top speed, higher, or like a slightly above average power. Heck, you could even up this up a little bit more and maybe she'd be able to win some or have more of a chance of winning. And has all the skills. These are all set for success. You could probably add a couple more, like making medium corners or medium straightaways, adding to this a little more. But this right here proves it. And I actually ended up winning my Cancer Cup with a less than above average, I would say less than average actually, El Condor Pasa. The horse does not need to be perfect. I know it might be really stressful to like aim for this. Like, I want this because yes, your horse will on average do really, really well. But getting them good enough and then fitting them with success, fitting them with the skills that are going to help them succeed are going to let them win as often as they possibly can. If you look down here on the stats, you see it 0.0. This gold chip, if you run enough simulations, this Marzensky can win in some of the situations. But right here, in this specific, out of 500 races, the Marzensky never won a single time. I think this is more of a horse to aim for. Obviously, if you can get the power up, if you can get the stamina up, if you can max the speed, if you can, not that guts matters all that much, but yeah, if you can get the guts a little up, if you can get a lot of wit, obviously your horse is statistically going to do better. But also don't kill yourself over it because, yeah, you're going to grind a ton of horses, but don't keel over trying to make the perfect horse. It is very hard to make the perfect horse. Sometimes just the good enough horse is all you need. And right here, statistically kind of proves it. This is not a perfect gold ship. You could do so much more to make this gold ship better. You could even do more to make this Marzensky better. But at the end of the day, there are ways to make a horse that is not necessarily perfect into a good and winning, consistently winning horse. Kind of moving on from that, just kind of since we're talking about Gold Chip and Summer Marzensky here, we can kind of talk about the characters that are coming up, right? A lot of characters in this game, but which ones are going to be good? I'm kind of, I'll just glaze over a couple of them, but just kind of going from front position, front runner. Summer Marzensky. She's going to be everywhere. Get ready for this. She's probably going to be the most ran horse, I would assume, if anybody pulls her, because she is very, very good, and she is going to remain very good, I think, until Valentine's Day Bourbon comes out, from what people have told me. I have not pulled her. I sort of wasted all my carrots on Fuji Kiseki because she's my favorite horse. Worth it, by the way, but I unfortunately do not have her, but a lot of people will probably end up using her. And reasons for that is, front runners, love wit, love speed. She's got 15 in both. That's fantastic. These two stats are going to grow great. Also, B and medium, very easy to get up there. And her Kiss of Courage, which activates when you have recovery, she's got recovery built in. And a lot of really good recovery. Generic recovery and then front runner recovery, which is what you're going to want to put her as well as some other skills here. Mostly, mile stuff, but things like Restless, 777. She has a ton of ways to get this Kiss for Courage to go off. And what's great about this skill that you can see here, it requires a heal to have activated. Consistency. You can decide when that is going to go off to know when she is going. And that's something very important to go into. Now, I don't have her. I've never run her. So, do with that what you will. But I think that right here, this is going to be a very good horse and probably a very consistent horse, and one that is very malleable, or one you can manipulate to do what you want when you want it more often than some of the other horses. Other notable ones here, I'd probably say Saiyan Sky, just because her ultimate is really good. Her unique skill is very, very good for all front runners, just kind of always. So I think you'll probably see her and any other ones that kind of come built in with a stamina, because that's a big one. You got to remember. Going back to this, it is a medium course. It's very long. And this also does not take into account the second most popular horse you are going to see, which we will get to that in a moment. But getting to pace chasers, Agnes Tachyon is another really good one. Great speed up. Guts is also kind of like good. Great, already at mediums and is built for mediums. Not really the standard distance, but got a debuff skill. Pace chasing is something she's great at. Comes with medium straightaways and corners. These are very, very good. As well as has race planner And of course, U equals MA2, which is very good healing skill, very consistent healing skill. So she will definitely be fine. Any horse that comes built in with stamina recovery is going to perform a lot better on this. As for late surgers, we're going to get into late surgers. I put Okiri Cap here, but even she is not necessarily the best late surger. I'm going to show you the best late surger. It's Nice Nature. To win the race? No. To kill your horses and then let their teammates win the race? Yes. You are probably going to see a lot of Nice Natures because of the constant... If you were in Taurus Cup, this horse is literally built to kill your horses. And so that their team wins. She will be the last one standing, or at least help one of her teammates be the last one standing. It's going to be brutal. Very easy to get a lot of debuff skills on this horse. As well as I even saw some people try to run her as an ace. So also doable, but definitely more often than not, you're going to see her as a debuffer. And that goes into my other point of late surgers. They're going to probably be one of the worst horses. You can run them. You'll probably even find some success with them. But it's mostly because you have things like Nice Nature. You have Wedding Mayano, which is an end closer who can be a debuffer, a hybrid ace, an ace, or just a straight up debuffer. So you have horses behind the late surgers that can hit late surgers. You have horses, you have horses that can hit the late surgers right next to them or who are directly in front of them. And then you even have debuffers like Air Groove that are going to be hitting your late surger from the front. Late surgers are probably going to be feeling the bulk of it. You might not see as many Mayanos, and especially maybe not even see that many debuff Air Grooves, but you're definitely going to see a lot of Nice Natures and maybe a decent amount of Mayanos, and late surgers are going to get hit hard. I would not recommend running them, but if you are, as many recovery skills as you can get, and Ogiri would be a good option because she comes with built in with Gourmand, and there's a lot of cards that'll help with that. And then kind of going in here for end closers, we do have Mayano. Again, Wedding Mayano can definitely be used as an end closer ace here. Probably going to see maybe some hybrids here. I know if I'm going to run her, I definitely want to run her hybrid. But I'm still going to try to make her set to win. And she has a very cool, unique ability that kind of changes based off of her position, which I think is really neat. But we're going to get into the big one. And I think everyone knows who it is. If you were in Taurus, if you were in Gemini, you've all seen her. You all love her. She's kicked you in the face. It's Gold Ship. She's just really consistent. She's just really good. I mean, 20% stamina, 10% power, which means you can just focus on speed, and a lot of the good speed cards like King Halo SR or Kitasan Black SSR, it's just going to be a lot easier for this kind of horse to get this training. So this is probably going to be a horse you also see a lot of, on top of already being good at mediums, and of course, her really, going back to this race, her really, really good ability with Anchors Away that just helps her jockey for position, get those acceleration skills off soon, completely take over the game. She is very good. I don't think she's as strong as she was in Gemini, but still very strong, still very good. I would say S tier horse, right next to things like, Agnes Tachyon or Summer Marzensky. This is like the S for horses, for end closers, I should say. And those are kind of my recommendations. Other end closer you could probably run like Rudolph or Ogiri Cap as like an end closer, maybe even run something like Narita Taishin, although in this race specifically, Encroaching Shadow, or more importantly, Straightaway Spurt, is going to be useless because of just how the course is. This is where it's going to activate. So unfortunately, Narita Taishin's really best acceleration skill, being Encroaching Shadow, is just not going to be good, which means the lower version, Straightaway Spurt, is also not going to be good. So wouldn't recommend Taishin on this one specifically, but if you want to run her because you really like her, I mean, I'm planning on running Fuji Kaseki, and she has mostly a ton of mile skills built in, so if you're Oshi picking, go for it. I'm of the assumption that you can sort of make any horse work if you work hard enough at it, but, I digress. Getting into like some cards, some recommended cards. This is parents. These are some nice parent cards. Muteki. This is probably one of the best parent cards in the game. Comes with a lot of generic skills that are always going to help. And if you're running a pace chaser, then every single skill is going to help. She has a hint frequency of 4 and a hint level of 4. But she gives like base. If you get one of her skills, she is going to max it. She is going to max any one of these will max. And even in her own events, I believe it's I Will Protect, medium corners built in. This is a great parent horse, maybe even a good horse if you want to run it like as like a horse that's helping you, although power cards like for your ace horse, but power cards tend to be a little weaker. Marvelous Sunday literally comes with an event. Where is it? Hanshin Racecourse, my bad. Basically comes with it, almost guaranteed if you get the event. Very good. It's only one hint, but it is a way to get it guaranteed, on top of course, all of her skills being very useful, minus straightaway adept. This one is probably the weakest, but all of these can very much help you, as well as a great stat stick horse, good initial wit, lots of race bonus, lots of fan bonus. Definitely a card that helps out a lot. Agnes Tachyon, what is it? Late Surger Savvy if you're gonna run a Late Surger. But mostly, Subdue Frontrunners is pretty good. That's a good stamina reducer for the Marzenskis that are going to be there. But she has Tether, both mediums, which is really good, and Up Tempo, another medium card that will definitely help position towards the front in the mid-race. Narita Brine. This card is new. This card is one that everybody... Also, these are all max limit broken, but honestly, like... You can either borrow, I would borrow this one if you know anyone who has this, but like you can technically run these because their skills are still always there. Again, I'm coming from the perspective of a player who has not played this game a ton. I think that this is going to be like, even if they're not max limit broken, if you don't have anything better, then like, yeah, I would run these because the skills are good. These are for parents. You're just trying to get the skills. You're just trying to get your horse good enough to get good sparks and whatever so that they can pass them down. So don't be too pressured. And Narita Bryan's card here is a great example of that, because it is a free card. It was free for the event that came, or sorry, for the main story that came out, so you can nab it and then you can spend club points on other ones. And in my humble opinion, if you can even just get, so the first one is like 100 and then the second one is 900, so 1,000 club points. If you can get the third, like 3 limit break, this is where this card really starts to shine. But if you can even just get the 2, it is still very good. Not forgetting the hints that you want. Unfortunately, she doesn't get any of the stuff for that, which is why I'd recommend the 3. But if you can only get the 2, her hints, whenever she gives them, is still right-handed, preferred position. Inside scoop and outer swell are really not that good, and long is completely terrible. Everything else on this card is really good. And if you're running like Agnes Tachyon and Narita Bryan, your odds of getting the corners you're looking for is very high. Hishi Amazon. I bet there are going to be people that watch this and go, this guy's a fraud. He doesn't know what he's talking about because I put Hishi Amazon in the deck. But we have... One, this is just kind of a good card in general. It has a lot of good random events that'll happen that'll give you energy or give you like hasten end closers, which might be relevant in this current CM or the upcoming CM, I should say. But end closer straightaways is great for your end closers. Salmon of the Spare is okay. Straightaway Spurt, not so much. But End Closer Savvy, very good. One of the few cards that has it, and one that will give it to you consistently, because the only other card that has it, I think, is Gold Ship. And both of her cards suck. All of her cards suck. Gold Ship is an amazing horse. Terrible support card in my opinion. But End Closer Savvy being this consistent, really good to get on a parent so you can pass it down. If you're struggling, I mean, I don't know. I've put her on some of my Ace Horse decks and it's still worked out for me. Me personally. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter there. And then coming into like parent decks here, not parent decks, ace decks, ones that you're going to put in. Super Creek is probably going to be really good. Swinging Maestro, super generic. Also, she comes, hints that she can give you is Homestretch Haste, a very good sort of like last-ditch effort speed skill in the last spurt. And Firm Conditions, which is like, you want that. That'll boost your power. It's very easy to get. It's on the King Halo too. If you're running both of these, she has Corner Recovery and... Homestretch Haste and Firm Conditions with Super Creek. These two really bounce off each other really well, and you will probably end up getting all of the skills you're looking for, as well as just being fantastic stat stick cards. that will help you out right here, especially the King Halo right here. You've got the +1 to speed and power if it's max limit broken. If not, maybe there are some better cards you can use here. Some other suggestions could be if it's an end closer, maybe Narita Taishin. Late Surger, maybe you do Asian Flash. Sweep Tosho is always good. She gives you Charming early, plus pretty decent stat stick, and Lone Wolf, potentially, another really good green one. Cancel out other people's Lone Wolves. But there are definitely options, maybe even fitting in a different SSR card that maybe you have. Obviously, I'm not even going to talk about Kita-san Black. This card is good. This card is very good. I think even after the other cards that power creep that come out, this card is still like gonna be seen as decent. So this goes without saying. Kita-san Black is good. It'll help you with speed training. She does have actually, let me take a look at her hints real quick. I think she has some that can help. If you're front running, then yeah, you have Danger Dodge is useless, but front running straightaway is a good. Corner Adept goes into Professor of Curvature that she obviously gives you. That is the gold skill that you get from the final event, and we walk together as Professor of Curvature. Very good, very consistent. And obviously 100% specialty priority, just a really good stat stick in general, boosts power. Baiko Pegasus is another one. I'll switch that back to King Halo. Baiko Pegasus is really good. This is one that if you already have a max limit Kita-san Black or a max limit Super Creek or whatever, not even max limit, honestly, you can get away with one copy. I get away with one copy. If you have one single copy of Super Creek, in my opinion, you're good. But Baiko Pegasus, if you can borrow a max limit break, right here, 20% training effectiveness. She increases the training effectiveness of every training she's on by 20%, which is huge because most of them are 5 or 10. Super Creek with the 15 is also like really good, but this is an insane stat stick card. This card will very much help you in boosting your stats. If getting the skills is not the issue and the stats is the issue, Baiko Pegasus will help. And then Air Groove here is here as an honorable mention for front runners. This card has medium stuff on it. It does have some debuffs, so it doesn't matter, but you have pace strategy, up tempo, medium straightaways. This is pretty good, and it's a guts card. So obviously people are probably looking at guts card. That's crap. Who cares about guts? Dude, training effectiveness 10, which is really good. You also have good race bonuses here, right? So it's not even that bad when it gets on other trainings. It's helping you train. It's helping you get fans and skill points and whatnot. And the hint frequency is 40. If you're front running right here, groundwork, a lot of people, this is something that I've noticed. A lot of people are like, okay, get groundwork from Sparks. And 100%, if you can get your skills from Sparks, it is always more efficient so that you can fit more cards in there. But this, I won my Cancer Cup thing. I won it with an El Condor passive whose stats were not all that great. I used this card just to get groundwork more consistently because it was so infuriating trying to get it just from the Sparks alone. There are people that might advise you against it. Me personally, if you're like, I am not getting the Sparks I need, I'm not getting the thing that I want, and I've run like 15 horses, this is getting frustrated, right here, groundwork. It's in the deck. It already comes with some other stuff that'll be really good as well. Would recommend putting it in, and it's not even that bad as a stat stick. It gives decent training effectiveness and good things here. It can help you. As for the horses that I plan on running, these are sort of the ones I'm sort of going between. I also have a 6th one that I'm kind of thinking of, but it's kind of meh. Fuji Kaseki is my favorite horse, so I really do want to run her if I can, but if I find it way too difficult because she sort of just comes built in with a ton of miles. She isn't necessarily built for medium races, but she does have Race Planner, so she comes with a built-in healing skill. That's good. And her, her unique ability, which is Lights of Vandeville, is a Greatly skill. If you don't know what Greatly is, it means that it gives a lot towards the bonus, which is a speed up bonus, so it's like 0.45. One of the few Greatly skills in the game currently, so if you can get her in position, get her acceleration up, and Lights of Vandeville goes off, she will go very, very fast. But obviously Agnes Tachyon is probably much more consistent, so I'm kind of thinking of her. I've been thinking of Ogiri Cap, maybe pace, maybe late, maybe end, I don't know. But I think I know for a fact I'm going Gold Ship, and I've been floating Wedding Mayano because I managed to get her randomly when rolling for Fuji Iseki. So I might end up using her. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Again, I don't have a 90% win rate. I didn't actually win Taurus Cup, but I do have two champions meets under my belt as someone who's only played the game for a few months and not 4 years. There are probably people who are who am I kidding? There's not probably. There are people who are much more knowledgeable on this. But from my perspective as a new player coming into it and trying to get sort of my understanding of it, and maybe this will help some people who also are not super veteran players and kind of want to take from somebody who it also is not a veteran player. I hope that maybe some of this helps you. I hope that it helps out a little bit, maybe gives you a little bit more confidence in the fact that your horses don't need to be perfect, as well as maybe if you can just plan a good strategy, get them good enough, get the skills that you need, you might be able to squeak out some nice 65% win rates like me. But yeah, again, also this is kind of just the end of the video, so if you just want to click off you can, but again, this is my first YouTube video. I actually also stream over at twitch.tv/poppysickle. If you want to catch me there, I play Uma Musume. I also do art, which is something I'm going to be going into as well, but because this Uma Musume video, I'm, just kind of focusing on that. But if you're interested, drop a like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Maybe come over, check out the channel if you want. But yeah, just mostly doing this for fun and seeing where it goes. But yeah, that's my take on Uma Musume. You can do it. If you thought Cancer or the other ones were really rough, don't worry. I feel like it only gets easier every single time a champions meet comes around, and that you only improve the more you do it. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.